More details are being released on the progression included in Battlefield 5 by the development team. DICE showcased Battlefield 5's vehicle specialization system yesterday via a blog post, and for the first time we got a sense of what different tanks will have to offer for you when you use them and rank them up when the game releases in November. Now, before we get into all of that vehicle-specific stuff, there's been a few extra snippets of information released on Twitter this past week by Ryan MacArthur. He's core and engagement gameplay producer for Battlefield 5 over at Stockholm, and he's taken over the DICE Twitter account for the last few days. His job is all about making sure players understand their progression throughout the game, and that there are always things to do for the player, and rewards that you unlock by doing those things. Essentially, Ryan is leading the team for Battlefield 5 that seemed to be MIA in Battlefield 1. Progression appeared to just not exist in that game. Totally different story in Battlefield 5. Firstly, he gave us a look at what a base level, starting out Allied soldier is going to look like. Looks pretty era authentic to me. Plenty of muted, greeny brown clothing going on here. This is what you're going to build upon when you start playing Battlefield 5, unlocking cosmetic items via the progression system. So likely, once you start playing, your soldier will evolve quite quickly, unless you like the era authentic look, which means that you could just stay with this look for the entirety of your Battlefield 5 career. This next clip is of an Axis soldier who's been transformed via the customization system and is wearing a lot of cosmetic items that will be unlocked via progression. The contrast between these two shots is pretty clear, but at the same time, DICE has followed through on their promise to deliver a more authentic experience for the launch of the game. If that was an issue for you, it appears to have been resolved. However, let's get back to vehicle progression. The process is very similar to specializing weapons for infantry players, but DICE has used the Panzer IV tank here as an example to show us what you can do. So to start with, you'll need to be playing Battlefield 5 to earn the grind currency to unlock these different specializations. Now this grind currency is called company coin, and the only way you can get company coin is to play matches, complete assignments, and complete different challenges. You can see from the image on the screen now that the Panzer IV has two full paths. You've got one there on the left and one on the right, and opportunities to cross over those paths on levels 2 and 4. And this setup will allow you to set up your tank as one directly combating something specific, or one that's more dynamic and offers a middle ground at the expense of fully devoting it towards a specific type of play. The options are there for you to decide what suits your playstyle. For the Panzer IV specifically, the left side of the tree is all about fighting other armour and tanks on the battlefield. The first specialisation is smoke launchers. This upgrades the default smoke generator on the Panzer IV and transforms it into a directional smoke screen. It's going to fire in the direction the turret is pointing when you deploy it. This is going to create a smoke screen in front of the tank rather than around it, perhaps giving you more opportunities to manoeuvre and get out of trouble. In Battlefield 4 days, I remember sometimes popping smoke and it would just consume your tank, and enemy players would still know you're sitting right in the middle of that smoke cloud, so this is a slightly different option for you. The next level down is armoured skirts. These attach metal plates to the sides of the tank hull for increased track protection. Battlefield 5's systematic damage system means that individual tracks can be disabled and reduce the mobility of tanks. So these skirts will be able to absorb damage if you're targeted in that region, but it doesn't make you impervious to damage. Level 3 on the left hand side gives you a Pak 40 L43 Cannon, and it replaces the default tank gun that you started with. This swap out will increase the velocity of the shells you fire for increased accuracy at range, and overall will give you a flatter shell trajectory. As a result, you're going to see a reduction in rate of fire of the cannon to balance things out. And lastly, for the left-hand side, level 4 gives you armor-piercing rounds. Increased damage and penetration against armor targets, but they come in limited quantity, so you're going to need to be familiar with the map's resupply locations so you can go and get some more. Moving over to the right-hand side of the tree, this side focuses more on specializations that make the Panzer IV effective against infantry targets, so a completely different style of play to the left-hand side. First up is Zimmerit Paste. This coats your tank in paste, making it impossible for grenades and mines to stick to it. This means close-range attacks from assault players. They often come in the form of dynamite throws. This specialization is going to eliminate the effect of those things sticking to your tank. It doesn't, however, stop an enemy firing a Panzerfaust shell at you. That's still going to hurt, and players could drop dynamite next to your tank really close by and still do a lot of damage when those explode. Level 2 on the right gives you access to the flare launcher. This will replace the default smoke generator with a flare system that will spot enemies within a certain radius for a short amount of time, and I believe the spot is limited to the minimap, it's not 3D spotting. Level 3 on the left gives you improved turret transverse. This speeds up the rotation of the turret on your Panzer IV. In Battlefield 5, the view of the turret and the physical turret themselves aren't synced together like they were in previous Battlefield games, and now tanks possess slower and perhaps closer to more authentic rotation speeds, so this specialization slightly speeds the turret up so you're able to keep track of infantry targets more effectively. And level 4, we have the S-Mine launcher. This fits the Panzer IV with multiple launchers around the sides of the hull with air-bursting explosives. If an enemy is getting close, pop these off, and a 360-degree protection system will activate and deal damage to infantry close by. If the infantry are already on low health, you're probably going to kill those players. Now, I'm sure you've spotted the two other options in the center between the two main branches. These allow you to swap branches at levels 2 and 4, but both options come with trade-offs that you need to think about, and it depends on really what your playstyle is, whether you're going to choose things like this over the two distinct branches on the left and the right. Firstly, at level 2 is Field Repair. This will instantly fix damaged tracks, engines and turrets on your Panzer IV. This option comes alongside the armoured skirts on the left and the flare launcher on the right, both of which would replace the default smoke generator on your tank. This field repair option allows you to keep the smoke generator, but you sacrifice the extra protection of the skirts or the extra visibility the flare launcher would offer you. And of course, if you've chosen the left or right hand sides at level 1, at level 2 here you have to make a choice of one of the three, but if you've chosen the right hand side at level 1, you can't choose level 2 left hand side, and if you've chosen the left side at level 1, you cannot choose level 2 on the right hand side. So really, it depends on what you've already chosen as to what you're sacrificing here. And lastly, at level 4 is the case round. This allows your Panzer IV to load a shrapnel shell into the turret for blasting at soft targets at close range. This option comes alongside the armor-piercing round on the left and the S-Mine launcher on the right, so you need to make a choice here between 3 different types of attacking firepower. Now, all of these vehicle specialization options provide strengths and weaknesses along the way, and many of the options replace default options on the Panzer IV. This is true of all of the tanks in the game, and the idea is simply to offer players different options within the tree that might help them build a tank that either suits their playstyle or will be built to play in a certain scenario. So for example, light tanks on maps like Rotterdam will likely be much more popular than a heavy Tiger 1. At launch, you'll be able to clear off chosen specializations and rebuild your tanks with different combinations as well, so don't feel you're going to be stuck with a certain path once you start moving down it. It can all be wiped and started again. Post-launch, DICE will be activating vehicle-specific assignments as well. This will give you a chance to unlock rare cosmetic items and rewards for using your vehicles. As we already know, vehicle cosmetic customization has been pushed back till after the launch of Battlefield 5, and it will be coming in an update soon after. All of this specialization stuff that you're seeing on the screen is part of the progression system and is 100% confirmed for the launch of the game. So, there you have it. That's vehicle customization coming to Battlefield 5. I'd like to hear from you today down below in the comments section what you think of these specializations and options. Are you happy with the system DICE is putting forward here, which is now parity with weapons having choices from the start, or does it need to go a little bit further in your opinion? Let me know down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you've got notifications switched on, that way you won't miss any of my future videos, and a big thank you for watching today. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.